Hello, thanks very much, Naz. Question first that came in from Susan Mew of CordAid. Supporting transferring funds to partner organisations that provide humanitarian support and are active in countries that are on the US list of proscribed terrorist organisations may have been given an exemption from the counterterrorism legislation because of the humanitarian mandate. However, where organisations are focused more on development or have a dual humanitarian development mandate, does this exemption still apply, or does it not apply? And how can organisations then best deal with this situation?
Thank you very much, Susan, and that is a great question, one that I think we don't talk about enough. So the simple answer to your question, and I put up on the screen now, this is a real counterterrorism clause in a real grant agreement between USAID and an NGO for humanitarian assistance. And this is the requirement of the organization to essentially attest that it is not and has not provided support to terrorist organizations. So the exemption that you are referring to, I think, is usually called a license. So this is when an organization will go to the United States Treasury and say, we know that in Somalia we're going to be asked for this tax, or we are going to be operating in an area where we cannot assure with 100% certainty that there isn't going to be a benefit to a listed group. So we want a license from the United States government that says, for this period of time in this particular place, you are authorized to do things which would otherwise be illegal, right? And it almost always, it's not that the license says it is only for humanitarian action as such, but it usually is limited to a particular area at a particular time and a very clearly laid out set of activities. The problem with development work is twofold. One, humanitarian law does not provide the sort of protection for that activity as such. And two, development activity may be far more risky on the counterterrorism side. So think about Hamas. If you're doing state building activity, development activity with Hamas, it's much more difficult to argue that that is kind of the type of humanitarian assistance that might be otherwise exempted from the law, right? So indeed, I mean, much of what we're talking about in terms of these exemptions and licenses is for humanitarian work. It is not for development work. And dual-hatted, dual-mandated organizations may want to really think about the risk exposure on different types of activities.